If you didn't know, I posted my 10th ever YouTube video last week. And to celebrate that, I thought I'd take you on a tour of my car collection. And no, before you ask, I'm not going to take you around the Skoda again. My car collection's in here. It's a pretty modest car collection, as you'll see. Look, 4 GT. Here we go. Before we enter, welcome to my Hot Wheels collection. Now we've got a lot to get through, but before we get into all of this, I'm Thomas. I have a slight Hot Wheels addiction, and this. I say it's a Hot Wheels collection because the majority of the cars here are Hot Wheels. However, cars like this CQ Mercedes SLS, and I have cars like this Barago Shelby Concept. And otherwise, I also have an Airfix Mustang and this McLaren P1 I got from Halfords. And I also have some Matchboxes in here. There you go. Matchbox AMC. But, the majority of them are Hot Wheels. So, before we, have a proper look at everything, we need to have a look at this diorama, because it is pretty cool. It is a fully custom-built diorama. And there's really cool stuff going on, but because we're talking about the car collection today, we have to start with the OGs. These are my first Hot Wheels. Well, this one, in fact, is my first Hot Wheel. There was a 5-pack, which has included this Jaguar SG20, this Lamborghini Sesto Elemento, the Renault, whatever it's called. The Renault Sport RS, which I swear just means Renault Sport. What? Anyhow, there's Aston Martin DBS. But there was also a McLaren F1 that I did customize a while back. I'm not sure where that is, but I will talk about customizing later. Otherwise, here we have a little bit of a best hits of my car collection. Obviously, I can't put everything in here, although I would love to. So, otherwise, we have, this Majorette, Kia, Stinger GT, which I really like. Have a Nissan Zafira, also Majorette, Audi Q3 e-tron, Majorette. Here are the electric charging spots. We have 2 drift cars. It's really cool. Transporter here. I don't actually have that many transporters. I think I have 2. And one of them's in the new collection, as you'll see a little bit later. But otherwise, over here, if you come over here, then there's a Lamborghini Aventador, Ford Gran Torino. I want to say Gran Torino, but it's not a Gran Torino. It might be an older one. I'm not sure. Toyota Celica, an original one. Koenigsegg RS. But the really cool thing about this diorama is its party piece. If I can just flick these on. There you go. We got lights. No. We got lights. Here, we got lights back here that turn on in the shop and outside the shop. And, really cool thing, if I switch the switch at the back here, we got tunnel lights, which is super cool. But, obviously, we're not here to talk about the diorama, so I think let's move on to what I want to talk about next. Now, I do like collecting 164 cars. I think you'll find the majority of these are 164. However, I do like collecting other cars because, as you can see, this is a 124 scale Renault 5 Turbo 2. This is my top 10 cars. I love this. And we have quite a lot of 143 scale cars. This is a 136 over there. This Porsche 928 that I got at the Porsche Museum in Stuttgart is, I think, it's 143 as well. This one, this 4GT is, 138 scale, which is quite a funny scale for die-cast cars. However, you'd think that these two cars are the same scale, right? Well, they're not, apparently. They are, this one's 136 scale, this one's 138 scale, which I always think, 138 scale, it's really such a random scale that no one else really uses. That was just like a Barago one, so I'm not sure. But as you see, I have arranged them in color. I think possibly this is the nicest, the most satisfying display I have done so far with these cards. I've done plenty, arranged them in color, but I think this sort of slightly messy sort of arrangement is pretty nice. I like it. Obviously, I can't really keep it like this because it's obstructing goodness knows how many things. But I don't just collect cars. I like to play with them. This is why none of these have packets, because, you know, I did collect a lot of these quite a while ago. However, I have some cars. Some really nice looking cars, like this Dodge Viper here. This is really good. Same with this Alfa Romeo 8C. There's some really cars I've kept in really good condition. Some cars that I bought in really bad condition, like, for instance, this, what's this? This is a Corgi Austin Mini Metro. And this came in like a job lot from eBay, which I've always wanted to buy. Mainly because it had this in here. The Talbot Matra Rancho, which also is in my top 10 cars. I absolutely love this. I don't think that I will ever complete my top 10 cars in Hot Wheels because they don't make certain cars that I like. And, you know, but maybe I might in like 143 scale, 136 scale. But otherwise, apart from that, we've got some of my favorite ones to collect. This is Silver Series. This is a Fast and Furious one, Bugatti Veyron. Also in my top 10 cars. But I don't just collect cars with engines. I also have a lot of electric cars. Mainly because, I don't know really. So this is an ID Buzz, and I have two of them actually. We got a Lucid Air, and otherwise there are a few more somewhere. For instance, over there, Audi RS e-tron GT, Audi e-tron Q3, I think. And then Rimac Nevera, obviously. But, yeah, this is really, really cool. I don't think that many of the Hot Wheels actually have opening parts because it's very rare for Hot Wheels. However, there are some Matchboxes. For instance, this is a Rover SD1, which has an opening sunroof because it's a relatively old Matchbox. And fun fact with this, I did put a woodlouse in here once when I was very young, and it might have died in there. It's not in there anymore. I managed to tip it out, but yeah, I had a dead woodlouse in there for about 2 or 3 years, which is slightly gruesome, but, you know, just a woodlouse. Otherwise, we have this. This is a 143 scale Ferrari Dino. I call it the Ferrari Dino because I think, personally, it is a Ferrari. Engineered by Ferrari. It should be a Ferrari. You know? But yeah, this actually, I had quite a lot more of them, but I gave them to my friend because he likes Ferraris. I kind of regret making that decision because I don't really take care of his cars that much, but, you know. Actually, a lot of these cars, I actually traded a lot of these. Like this my friend gave me. This is a very nice Porsche 911 Carrera RS. I think the 2.7 one. But I think you'll find that in this entire collection, you don't really find that many fantasy cars. That's because most of the fantasy cars I don't particularly want anymore because I like collecting the real cars. Just a preference of mine. But they are somewhere. I think they're in that box over there. But we obviously won't go into that because it's not really my collection anymore. However, I think I've... Oh, look, another Rover SD1. See, I do kind of sometimes forget where some of my cars are. However, there are some cars that I suddenly realise I don't have. For instance, there was this green Porsche Taycan that I realised when I was making this display I didn't have. But then I found it later, which is good. But it's like sometimes I have memories of certain cars. But I will forget that I own some cars sometimes. For instance, this I quite forgot I had that, and then remembered I had that. I really love this. This is my second ever 5-pack, which was an HW Flames car pack. And it was because I was kind of frustrated because my brother got a car and I didn't, and so my mom just straight up gave me a 5-pack, which is, I think it's slightly overkill. Like, I wouldn't have minded if I just had one car, but you know, I'll take it. There are so many cool cars in here, and I would maybe another time. So, let's move on to another part of my house. This, I want to say, before we go, is like, you know, in like a car museum or like a car meet place. Like, they have one at the Motorist, if you've been there. Basically, it's like a workshop where they'll work on cars. There, they have one at the Porsche Museum, obviously, because they're repairing cars. So basically, this is what I kind of like. This is my sort of area. And, if you just turn this on, it's basically my sort of workshop. It's very untidy right now because I'm in the process of tidying up. But I do like customizing my cars. It's just a hobby of mine right now that I haven't really been doing much with recently because I've been busy, well, making videos. But here's some of my ongoing projects. We got this Chrysler Pacifica, which is meant to be an off-road build that I still need to do interior on. I've cut out this back from a Ford Fiesta rally car. I'm going to stick that on the interior, plus with some 3D printed seats that I got off eBay. Otherwise, we got this Datsun, it's a Mazda pickup. I think it's like got a rotary in real life. It's meant to have opening doors, mainly because I cut off the doors and then didn't know how to glue back them on. Back them on? What? But yeah, and so here's a little bit of the process. It does go quite freely, but that's because I had to glue an extra piece of PLA plate on to stop, because I drilled it slightly off-center. But yeah, there's quite a lot of projects going on. I'm slightly overwhelmed with some projects. However, there are some projects that I have finished. Here they are. There's this one, which was my first Hot Wheels custom, which is like a fantasy sort of Hummer looking thing. Currently it's a little bit broken. The back wheels are a little bit, the back wheels are just, you know, not attached properly and they're not spinning well, so I have to fix that. We got this Rolls Royce, which I forgot to put some protector spray on, so now it's really bashed. I used paint pens for this because I don't have any proper spray paints. So, you know, the result is not particularly good. Same with this. Same with actually all of these ones currently because I didn't spray paint them. This is Datsun pickup that I used to have 2 lights, but I actually used paper clips for the grill, which meant I had to chop it down to 1 light. I think it turned out pretty good, apart from I tried to use the, again, protector spray, and it doesn't particularly work well on cars with painted with paint pens, but you know, some pretty cool. Got some monoblock wheels. If you know if you customize Hot Wheels yourself, you'll know monoblock wheels. This is a really cool car that I was really super proud of. It's a Targa Top Monteverde High, which I think Monteverde was a Swiss company that built most of their cars in Italy, but it was Swiss. I think it's quite complicated, but yeah, no, it's just basically just chopped the roof off here. And since it's an old Matchbox, it does have opening doors, which is really cool. I also did an interior on that. Anyhow, and then we have these two. What are these? They were real toys, since I can't tell because I rebuilt the chassis on these. My first customs were real toys because I didn't really care much about them, and they were super cheap as well. This is basically like just your average UK car scene SUV. This is like an off-road TVI, I like to think. This actually turned out super cool. This whole back bit is like is just putty. But the main reason why I am talking about them is because they're actually for sale, kinda. Because I don't really want to keep a lot of these, because I want to move on to some new projects. I am actually going to sell these. Not particularly on eBay, not like properly, officially, or anything. But if you do want the weirdly tuned SUV, the off-road TVR, the weird Hummer thing once I get it fixed, or the Targa Monteverde High, the slightly broken Rolls Royce, or the cool Datsun pickup, with the, actually has an Advan livery with cool Advan decals I got, then you can DM me on Instagram. Same with this cool pickup truck that I forgot to talk about, which wasn't originally a pickup truck, it was actually an estate, except I just chopped off the back, which turned out pretty good. Ooh. Also, this Porsche 928 that's missing 2 wheels, but there you go, you can get them from the wheels from Modelmatic, I'm pretty sure. They still have them for sale. And yeah, I think that's about it. I might sell more projects later if I find them. But yeah, I think that's enough talking about this workshop, because obviously you don't want to really make me, I don't know, talk about projects and whatever. So let's move on to what I like to call my new car collection. Like, this is nice. I like this. I still play with these. This is really nice. However, I've sort of started a new car collection where I keep things in the packets. Well, kind of. Because, like, you know, like everyone, I don't like keeping things in packets. Obviously, I have with some of these new cars I forgot to unbox because I haven't really had time. But there are some cars in here. Some really cool cars. I'm not sure what the count is because I recently bought 2 more cars. However, we got plenty of cars. We got Matchboxes. I like Matchboxes mainly because they are, you know, because they have detail on the headlights and the rear lights, which sometimes Hot Wheels is lacking sometimes. And that's why I kind of like them, because the Hot Wheels you have to pay more for the Silver Series, which I also like. I like, probably my favorite type of Hot Wheels is the Silver Series, because they're not particularly premiums, but they do have detail on the lights and stuff. Also, Forza Horizon 6. Yeah, so this is a Pontiac. I have another Pontiac. Actually, these, I think these 2, plus this is a Hot Wheels Hot Ones, which is like a Silver Series-ish car, which is like designed to look like an old car, but have the old wheels. I haven't unboxed that one yet, I need to do that. And also this Transporter, I think. So all of these cars I actually got in the Scotland road trip. If you don't know, it's where we went on a holiday in Scotland in a caravan to try and do the North Coast 500 and ended up racing a storm. You can go watch that on my channel anytime. We've got 2 premium cars, a Porsche Carrera GT and a Ferrari LaFerrari. I'm surprised I actually found these cars in an actual shop, because they're like super in demand. I still haven't found a Lamborghini Diablo SV, which is from a Boulevard set from last year, I think. If you know of one, please message me. I want to do that. That's also in my top 10 cars. And as you see, this is the same car pack that my OG cars came from. So I spent way too much money on this. I spent so much money, in fact, that I pretty much, it was too much money. However, I had to buy this for nostalgia's sake. There was one on Amazon, and I had to buy it. And I think I really like it. I'll probably unbox them at some point, but for now, pretty nice. Also, before I forget, this is a 6-pack of premium, it's like semi-premiums, and there's 1 premium. This is like a box of semi-premiums. This is a 6-pack of Japanese cars I really like. I really like this, especially the Mazda MX-5 up here and the Honda Civic. Super cool. But the finale of this sort of collection must be this. I got this for Christmas last year, I'm pretty sure. Or, yeah, Christmas last year, and just check it out. It is a Ferrari 308 GTS. If you don't know, this is the car that Tom Selleck drove in Magnum PI, or basically the thing. And this car is, in fact, a real car, a real Hot Wheels from 1996, I'm pretty sure, which is super cool. And I will unbox it, mainly to piss off all the collectors. And, yeah, it's super cool. And I will continue to expand my car collection in the future, maybe give you some updates, because I kind of want to collect some more bigger cars later. But for now, that's all. And Thanks for watching.